Package time. Welcome to another video. This is a very impromptu video. I just got home from work and this package wasn't supposed to be here till next week, and it's here. So I thought I'd open it up, and yes, I did actually open it. But I'm very excited for this because it has not one but two new lenses for me. Okay, so let me start this different. Okay, so very recently I bought the Laowa 9mm 2.8 very wide rectilinear lens, and it is a completely manual lens. It's just a metal lens, metal glass, no electronics, just fully manual focus, and it kind of sparked something in me that I haven't really felt for a while, and that is my love for manual focus lenses. When I started photography, I didn't have autofocus. Nothing was digital, everything was analog, and everything I had was manual focus. And so I learnt to use that, and I like the feeling of manual lenses, manual gadgetry quite a lot. And so when I used the Laowa 9mm, it just sort of reignited that excitement for manual lenses in me again. And so I got very, very excited, and I started just shopping online for other manual lenses. And for a while I've been looking at a couple of focal ranges, and I want to get a new lens, a prime lens in roughly these focal ranges, and I haven't been very decisive on what to get. So instead of buying one reasonably more expensive lens that does have autofocus and everything else like that as a prime lens, and having to choose between one focal length or the other, I figured out that I could spend a lot less money and buy two manual focus lenses in that focal range. And then once I've tried out that focal range and decided which one is the one that's right for me for the kind of photography and video that I want to do now, I can just buy the one lens that's going to fit the bill and still enjoy photography with my manual lenses at the same time, like just two birds with one stone, as it were. So that led me to finding these two lenses. So if I get the box back again, I've got two lenses in here. I've got and they're both by the same company. So if you're on other formats, if you've been on Fuji or Sony or the like, these will be very familiar lenses to you, but I haven't seen anybody really testing these out on the EFM mount. So I'm hoping that these are very sharp copies and I'm going to be able to do them justice in some upcoming review videos. But this is just like a brief video about what I got and why I got them. So I got, first off, a 25mm, here's this shiny box, 25mm 1.8, and this is the Meeike. I don't know how to say it. Is it Meike, Meeike, Meeike? I don't know how to actually say it. I've had these lenses before though, back in my EOS A1 program days, with old Canons. I've had these brands lenses and I really liked them. And when I saw that they did these, and these were like 70 bucks US, I got them from B&H, nothing sponsored by the way here, these are just lenses I bought, but they're very cheap. 70 bucks is next to nothing for a lens. So yeah, the 25mm, and I'll explain in a minute why I went 25. And the other one is a little bit more of a classic focal length of 35mm. I don't need this anymore, that can go away. So a 35mm lens is fairly self-explanatory. It's a very common focal length. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, whether or not I need that focal length. I've obviously got zooms that can do that focal length, but something in a prime, something in a that has quite a wide aperture, can let in lots of light, I don't really have. But I'm just not sure if it's the focal length I want. That's why I went for the 35, just classic focal length, right? Let's get into the box first and see what's in here. We have, so open up the box, very familiar box, doesn't have much on it, has a barcode, has a couple of pictures, said 35mm, some styrofoam, which we don't need, I guess this is a warranty card, a cleaning cloth. I do like these little cloths. I tuck these into every crevice I have on every bag and everywhere, and I leave them in the little pouches like this. I know that when everything turns bad and dropped all my microfiber cloths in the dirt, I at least know I'm going to have one of these clean somewhere. So we'll wait to that one. We've got this little bag. When I saw this on other videos for like Sony mount versions and that of these, and it's like this plasticky bag, who would ever use that? But on the inside, no one ever mentions this. It's actually a bit fluffy. It's got some fabric in there, soft fabric. So keeping some moisture out. It's also nice and soft on the inside. I might not use these for the lenses, but as little accessory bags, these could come in quite handy. Yeah, it actually might be quite good. Then you come to, obviously you got the box with some more bits and bobs, a little book about all the lenses that are available. That'll come in useful. I think it's mostly, never mind. And the rest is just packaging. We don't need any of this. That goes in there. Recycling. So this is the lens. It does come in another bag, but as I said, I pulled that stuff out so I could give things a disinfectant wipe before getting into the video for reasons. It is a little metal lens. Both of these lenses, by the way, are going to look exactly the same. The glass is going to be the difference. So on the back, you've got a plastic cover that you turn, and there's the back of the lens. See, there's no sort of points or anything on there because it is manual focus. There's no electronic communication between the lens. By the way, one thing that I did learn with these manual lenses, when you are taking these photos, if you do want to record what your f-stop is later on, you might want to write that down because your camera won't record it in the metadata like it normally does. It'll tell you the focal length sometimes, but you know what it is because it's fixed. But it'll not tell you your f-stop because that's not being communicated by the lens. ISO, however, is dictated by the camera, so because the sensor is in the camera, therefore you're always going to have that information. But that's just a little tip for later. On the front, you've got a fairly snug, it feels good on there. It's like there's enough suction there that it's not just falling off, but it doesn't screw on. It's just the lens cap. It's a little metal lens cap that goes over the top of there. Now, one advantage to these lenses for the Canon EOS M6 Mark II user, this filter thread is 49mm. 49mm is the same filter thread as your 15 to 45 kit lens. The focus ring is nice and smooth. It's could be a little bit stiffer for me, but you will have to watch your focus if you're taking photos, especially in slow shutter speed scenarios. It is something to take note of that this could be knocked out of focus quite easily. Likewise, it does have the aperture ring, of course. Again, no clicks, unlike the Laowa, which I loved because it had nice tactile clicks for the aperture. This does not. It's very smooth and it doesn't go very far, so it does have a hard stop, so that's good. But yeah, you could easily knock it if you're not careful. So if you're setting up your focus and everything, I would pay to double check before you hit shutter button when using this lens. But that's the 35mm. I'll put that down there while we open up the next one. 25mm. Story behind the 25mm is probably a little bit more interesting than the 35mm. So there it is. This is the 25mm, and this is the 25mm and 35mm. They look identical. I'm going to have to write on these caps on both the front and the back so I know which one is which when I grab it out of my kit bag. However, there's a 1.8 versus the 35, which is a 1.7. So a slight difference, but a point of an f-stop, not a huge amount, hopefully. Not that it matters terribly, they're very, very close to each other. You can get the 35mm for a little bit more money in a 1.4, which would be interesting, but I wanted these to match, to be a matching pair with their f-stops, but also in my experience most 1.4s you're stopping up to f2. Likewise, I'd expect these to stop up to f2 to get some really sharp images, so I would, yeah, it's probably irrelevant that it goes lower, but yeah, I haven't tried it so I can't really say. So 25mm, the story behind this focal length is, as I said, a little bit more interesting than the 35. 25's not quite as common. 22, 23, okay, maybe 24mm, but 25 is a bit different. 25 for me, on an APS-C camera is the same field of view as a 40mm on a full frame 35 sensor. So the reason I went for the 25 is because I wanted the same field of view, not focal length, there is a difference there, the field of view equivalent on my M6 Mark II of a 40mm, like say the Canon 40mm Pancake, which I would love that lens, but I feel that lens is, the 40mm field of view is what makes that lens special, and it's kind of lost when you put it onto a crop sensor. So that's why I went 25, so I can have that field of view of a 40mm equivalent. Plus also I just felt that I just wanted to try something different, you know? Sometimes you just see a focal length and you go, huh, I haven't really used one like that before. I'm gonna get that one. I also thought it was an interesting counterpoint as a focal length to, say, the EFM 22mm, which is a very capable, very popular lens that a lot of people get and love. And I thought, well, I'll probably end up with that lens one day, so why would I get a 23mm or a 22mm lens when that one's probably going to be the better choice anyway? So I decided to go for something different, somewhere in the middle, and go for the 25mm. That's it. That's the video, really. I'm excited. 2 lenses for the price of one, basically. They're both the same price. They're both $70 US. From B&H, as I mentioned, so very, very affordable. So there you have it. That is the 35mm and 25mm manual focused lenses from Meeike. They're both small, compact, easy to carry around. I look forward to playing with these and taking lots of photos to really test them and do a proper review on each one. But that is a first look introduction. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found them relatively useful. And yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for coming. I'm going to see you guys really, really soon with some more videos with these neat little lenses. Bye for now. I don't know how you sell it. Is it Meike, Meeike, Mike, Meek, Meek?